Throughout the gaming community, many types of horror games can be found that can actually scare the player. These include jump scare horror games, action horror games, and of course, mascot horror games. However, there is a genre of horror games that not only just scares the player, but also can terrify the player to the core, making the player feel uneasy, unsettled, anxiety, dread, and uncertainty. I'm talking about psychological horror games. These games are made to make sure that fear is forever present when playing the game, to make sure that the player is always on their toes when entering the next room or building. Now, when I say the word psychological horror, what games will appear in your mind? Some might say Silent Hill and Cry of Fear, others would say Amnesia or Visage. But there is one game that manages to really poke into the fear of unsafety and insecurity. That is, milk outside a bag of milk outside a bag of milk. Say that 10 times. Anyways, these games, while just using simple dialogue messages and a point and clicker section, still manages to poke insecurity and fear. It's certainly a unique experience that we as the player are facing, since we feel contained with less freedom to move about compared to other horror games. The game is accompanied by this awesome soothing soundtrack that lasts over 4 hours, even though the game only takes about 1 to 2 hours to complete.
I am the milkman. My milk is delicious. Special delivery today.
The characters, even though they may not have enough screen time, are perfectly characterized to give a visual of how things are in the household. We are first introduced to our main protagonist, the girl, which in this video I shall name her as Milk-chan, as this is what the community had given her. The game immediately begins right after Milk-chan returns home after purchasing a bag of milk. Inside her house, it appears as though she is being pursued by evil shadows until she manages to reach her living room. In the room, she encounters a disturbing figure with a stoic pixelated appearance, later revealed to be her mother. The mother forcibly injects a mysterious substance into Milk-chan's arm. Her mother made her swear a promise to never again drink milk. With her mother tightening her grip, Milk-chan reluctantly agrees to the proposal. Later on, we have a look at Milk-chan's room when we immediately notice medicine bottles on the sink and fidgets with the capsules. Eventually, Milky takes them one by one in an attempt to create her own remedy to her problems. She begins to wish for a partner, who is the player, to talk to. In response, the girl begins to hear a voice in her head, controlled by us, the player. We have a set of dialogues to choose from as the appropriate response to Milk-chan's problems and conversations. She talks to us as we had been longtime friends, sharing her troubles as she struggles with her social isolation. Milk-chan, whilst being on the bed, was trying to dream of something but couldn't. We suggested cockroaches as her thoughts as it was considered to be small and swarming. But Milky had imagined fireflies instead. However, the fireflies got lost and now we have to start searching for the fireflies hidden around her room. As we assist Milk-chan in collecting the fireflies from various objects and items, each one of them presents a whole new story that we learn about our friend Milk-chan here. After gathering the fireflies, she confesses that she hasn't been able to dream in a while, causing her stress, paranoia, and making it difficult to sleep for the past few days. Once she finishes telling her story, she asks us for one last favor, if we can tell her a bedtime story. However, she was upset when we had to dismiss her request and told her to just close her eyes. Finally, she falls asleep. A surreal dream that follows is shown by how we choose the interactions with Milk-chan throughout their conversation, revealing more about her personal thoughts and experiences. In total, there are 5 different endings that we as the player can experience.
Josh! Pour me a glass of milk!
Why are you yelling at me?
Just give him the freaking milk!
You guys aren't even saying the same thing!
We're all saying milk, Josh!
No, you're saying milk! You're saying
Milk!
So, what actually is the point of this game? Like, we literally spent an hour clicking and clicking and clicking, and so what? What do you gain or what did you learn from this? In my opinion, this game is more about the journey rather than the final destination. Let me explain to you. The choices that we make are, in a way, her way of thinking. So rather than viewing ourselves as a whole separate entity than Milk-chan, we are Milk-chan, just trying to reach out to ourselves, understand ourselves from a broader but yet deeper perspective. Then what is the point of milk? Well, one crucial aspect people don't really realize is that Milk-chan is actually lactose intolerant. This has been heavily hinted throughout the game, as we can see a subtle display of an avoidance of milk. When Milk-chan drank milk, we can see the mother confronting her. The mother is actually injecting a serum to cure her as well. It should also be highlighted that Milk-chan just sees her mother as a sort of monster, relating to the familial tensions in the household. How about the many milk cartons besides the girl's sink, you may ask? This could be a result of oral immunotherapy treatment. This kind of treatment is described as giving a patient a substantial amount of allergic substances with the goal of achieving immunity through it. Well, in this game, it clearly did not work, and perhaps the result of the many milk bags conflicted with Milk-chan, ultimately associating her father with a bag of milk. This could ultimately show why the familiar tensions are in the house, or why Milk-chan is actually showing abnormal behavior in the household. Overall, I pretty much enjoyed this game. Yeah, the game is kinda short, but I love the message of this game and how it can convey its emotions towards the player. It is interesting, but yet a very simple way to teach the player about her story of trauma and schizophrenia. I would really suggest you to try out the game, as it is very cheap on Steam and could really help out the developer.